Crystal healing, herbal remedies, and other energy-based healing methods have been around for centuries. Many people from Native Americans, pagans, to modern society not only use earth-grown things to heal someone's health, but their spirit as well. On this episode of Holistic Healing and More, we visit local metaphysical stores where we learn the benefits of crystals, a brief history on tarot, and more. Right here, coming up next. The store owner of Ascended Gifts offers a variety of classes. Let's visit Sorrel as she talks about candles and smudging and the benefits they have on healing one's chakra and energy.
We provide all kinds of different kind of classes. We have a drumming circle where everybody gets together. They can bring their own drums, but we also provide extra drums in case they don't have any, and shakers, so forth like that. More like unifying gathering. We also provide discounted reading services. I conduct a spirit fair here at the shop every month between 1 and 6 p.m. Where you get the discount readings, so forth like that for people that just like to try it out. 15 minutes for only $20, so forth like that, their choice. Crystal classes, Reiki classes, chakra classes. There are chakra candles, chakra candle kits that one can use to meditate upon and or work on their own chakra. I do also, I've done the intro to smudging, cleansing, and blessing classes here. I've done those a few times here, real popular, where I teach them the correct way to do smudgings for their own home or their own Reiki rooms or energy, for their businesses, forth like that, to get rid of stagnant or lower energies. Is not just Native American, actually, goes back probably over 3,000 years. Churches also do the smudging with with the incense, with their censer and so forth. Yep. So there's all kinds of information out there that you can look up as far as the history of smudging. What made me open the store was, I guess, so I could reach and help more people. And a lot of my clients that I would do readings for kept asking me, well, when are you gonna open up your own store, Sorrel? And my husband one day just looked at me. We were sitting on the couch watching TV one night out of the blue and said, well, we're not getting any younger. If you're gonna do it, do it. And I said, as long as I have your blessing. So here I am.
If interested in visiting Ascended Gifts, feel free to check out the store's Facebook page or website at www.ascendedgifts.com. Local palm reader George Sand has been a palmist for over 41 years. Palmistry is dated all the way back to the 1st century and still is found in numerous cultures all over the world. Though there are many skeptics to this practice, it is undeniable that there are particular markings that come and go through the changes of their life.
Palm reading covers a lot of areas of your life. It differs from tarot because tarot only covers short period of life. It's good if you have a question for right now or up to a year, but palm reading covers your whole life in general. It covers health, jobs, money, romances, all kinds of things. Everybody has a lifeline, a heartline, and a headline. Those are 3 major lines, and most people have a fate line. That's usually in the middle of somebody's hand. Those 4 lines are probably the major lines. They can change as far as the length. They can become longer, or they can become shorter, or things. You'll develop markings that weren't in there before. That can be squares, or triangles, or circles, or stars. Things can occur that weren't there before. Okay, and they can be good or bad. They're not always good, and they're not always bad. Usually if lines are going upward, that's good. If lines are going downward, that's not so good. But as far as how many lines people have in their hand, a lot of people think only old people have a lot of lines in their hands. I've looked at a lot of hands that young people can have a lot of lines too. So that doesn't mean that much. It means that if you do have a lot of lines in your hand, you got a lot of worries and nervous energy and things like that. But it doesn't have anything to do with age. Stars are rare. They're usually very good. That means you can attract people, and people want to get to know you and see you and so on and so forth. Squares are also good markings. They're protective. You know, if you see squares to me hands, they're kind of protected from things. So that's a good thing to have. Crosses can be good or bad. Like if you have a cross under your Jupiter finger or the first finger, it means usually a good marriage, you know, something like that. But if it's under the Saturn finger, the second finger, it can mean bad things. You know, it can mean serious accidents, or you know, it can mean that you will have a hard time controlling your life no matter what you do. You know, it has a more negative connotation depending on what it is. Crosses can be good or bad. If you're right-handed, the right hand is the now hand. The left hand is past potential. It's the opposite if you're left-handed. So there's differences, you know. You can see if somebody has changed in their life, or if you compare them, or what changes there are. They do show up in your hand, you know. So the right hand is more going to be about now, though, than the left hand. Things that might happen if you're right-handed. I started reading books on my own. It was more of a hobby. I would just read books, but it took me about 2 or 3 years, but I would take notes on them. And one day I was at a psychic fair, and they didn't have palm reader, and so I volunteered to do it, and that's how I started. It wasn't planned like I was going to make money or be a professional. When you were younger, though, not that you're old now, but your mind and emotions used to fight each other.
You could contact George at 414-595-1047 or check him out at the House of Magic every Saturday, located just off of Packard in Cudahy. For our last stop, we visit Free Spirit Crystals, which is located right here in Butler, Wisconsin. In 1992, the store owner Diane had a wide awakening on why she should open the store. But before we meet with her, we meet with the store manager as she talks to us about tarot.
You know, I was at a tricky place in my life. I had gone back to school for a little bit, and I met a woman who I got along with that was taking the same class that I was taking, and it was a psych class at the time. And she suggested somewhere during the class that everybody go out on the last night of class. And when that happened, it's like she walked down the hall and nobody was interested. And so I followed her and said, you know, did you want to go out? And she said, well, nobody wants to go. And I said, I do. You know, just because we seem to get along. And that, I mean, just that evening, our conversation turned out to be like her opening the doorway of tarot and astrology. It wasn't that I didn't know about it, but I kind of didn't know how to find out more about it. And so she became my first teacher. She taught me what she knew about it, and then suggested that I take a class from the person that taught her. And it really helped me with my life, because it helped me to like objectively understand what was going on. And objectively understand a little bit more about myself. And additionally, the tarot can give you guidance, which I find to be most important. You know, it's like regardless of the fact that things are a particular way, there is a really good thing that you should do that will help you. And then there's some other, like, not so great things that you probably shouldn't do. And the tarot can really very accurately advise you of that. Some of what goes on with tarot and astrology both, you know, they're basically sets of symbols that have been handed down for, in the case of the tarot, hundreds of years. Tarot is different from like an angel deck, because the angel decks and some of those others are oracles, which means they can have any number of cards and they may or may not have like an organized system to them. The tarot has a specific number of cards, 78. It has a specific system. So 22 of those cards are known as major cards or major arcana. And those cards, each and every one of them, are absolutely different from any other card in the deck. And people refer to those cards as the hero's journey or the fool's path, and it's analogous to our journey through life, basically, in terms of beginning and meeting challenges and knowing ourselves and completing a cycle. And so it can refer to like an entire lifetime, or it can refer to your time in school and how that's a complete cycle. And so you won't find that with oracle decks, but that has to be in a tarot deck. And then the other cards are connected to the playing deck that we know today, with the exception that there's an extra face card in each suit. So that's the difference between those. And then as far as the rider deck was developed at the turn of the century, and still persists because it has accurately depicted the archetypes and the symbols. And so even though there are many, many different kinds of tarot decks, most, not all, but most of them are based on the symbology of the rider deck. There is numerology in the tarot, yes, absolutely. A lot of it, actually, because almost all the cards are numbered. The High Priestess is a keeper of secrets, but she's also a keeper of sacred wisdom. And so I think that's why the Torah is there, because it's a sacred book, it's scripture. And any kind of scripture is not always readily understandable. You have to study it. And so for that reason, the High Priestess is actually a spiritual study card. And so she is a lot of things. She is the feminine principle, so she's everyone's feminine side. And she's very well kept to herself. So she's someone who is very self-reliant and is not, she's an introvert. She's definitely not an extrovert. What I found with the High Priestess is that when she symbolizes a particular person, that's not somebody who is going to be out telling people about who they are and what they do. You have to get to know this person. You have to approach them. And because I think they spend so much time by themselves in study, they've accumulated a great deal of knowledge, which is why she's the High Priestess that people come to ask questions. I think that she's the patron saint of the tarot. I think she embodies the tarot. And for that reason, she always seems mysterious, I think.
Well, in 1990, I decided to quit my job. I was working in corporate food service, and I just couldn't do corporate work anymore. It was stifling me. It was actually felt like I was being choked to be in that kind of an environment. And so I decided just to quit. But I didn't know what else I was going to do, so I decided to take a year off. The day that I quit, I was pitching in a softball game, and I got hit in the face with a line drive. I got knocked out. I fell on my shoulder and injured my shoulder. And for a whole year, I went on an odyssey to try to heal my shoulder, with no success in allopathic medicine. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't move my arm. It felt like I was being stabbed every time I moved my arm, so I couldn't work. I couldn't play. I couldn't do anything. So I just kind of went inside for a year, which wasn't what I had planned at all. I was going to travel and see the world, and all of a sudden, that wasn't in the plans. So after a year, the doctor said, I don't know what else to do for you. We can operate on your shoulder. That might work. So I said, okay, fine, because I didn't know any other model besides allopathic medicine. So they did an operation in June of 1991. It didn't work. 6 weeks later, I went back to see the doctor, and he said, well, we'll give you another cortisone shot, which I'd already had two, and I said no. But I didn't know what else I was going to do, because they couldn't help me anymore. So I called a friend who said, I know somebody that does crystal healing work and energy work. Why don't you go see her? And I thought, that's really weird. Why would I want to do that? I just went through all this, the best medicine I could get. It didn't work. What makes you think a couple of rocks and some energy work is going to work? And she said, well, what's your plan? And I didn't have one. I didn't know what else to do. So I went to see this lovely woman. And she worked on me for 5 weeks. We used crystals and stones. We did meditation. She put her hands on me. All kinds of things started coming up. And in 5 weeks, my arm was healed. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to know this stuff. I need to know why this worked. And so I just got so intrigued with how all of this worked, and allopathic medicine couldn't help me, but some rocks did. And it certainly opened my eyes to a whole nother world that I had no idea existed. So I just immersed myself in reading about energy healing, and I loved it. So quartz crystals, these are like, if I couldn't have any other stone, I'd have quartz, because they do more than any other stone, I think. Using 2 quartz wands makes a circuit around your body and helps the body come back to its natural alignment, to its natural health. Crystals are electronic. They use these in all electronics. They're used in computers, they're used in watches and clocks and television sets. You can have something electronic. They use silicon oxide, which is the makeup of quartz. It's called piezoelectric energy. And it's a proven fact that quartz crystals can heal. So very, very important stone to use if you're going to do this kind of work. And I can teach you it in 5 minutes. It's that easy to do. Another stone that I like to use is malachite. Malachite is a soft stone, and even though it feels really hard, there's different soft and hardnesses to stones. It's called the Mohs scale. And the softer stones help to draw out the energy. So let's say you have arthritis or even some carpal tunnel in your wrist. What the malachite does is help to draw out the inflammation. It draws out heat from the body. So arthritis, bursitis, any kind of inflammation that you have in the body, malachite is fantastic. The other thing that it does is helps to draw out the emotions, because our emotions get stuck in our cells. And my own opinion, I can't prove this scientifically, but because of my own life and what I've experienced in teaching other people and doing energy work on other people, when our emotions get stuck in our cells, it changes the makeup of our cells and can skew them and cause dis-ease or disease. When we use these stones, it changes the structure of the cells. It draws out what we call negative energy and puts positivity in the cells. It also changes our mindset so that our thinking becomes different, which is really important if you want to heal. Another stone that I like to use is amethyst. Amethyst is a very calming stone. It helps to release old thought patterns, old addictions. It's called, actually they call it the alcoholic stone, because it helps you to understand the reason why you have the behavior. It's not just going to take it away from you. That would be way too easy. What it does is to help you say, okay, that's why I'm doing this behavior. That's why I'm drinking. That's why I'm overeating. That's why I gamble a lot. So you can break the habit. Great stone. Also opens up your intuition. And probably my favorite stone is citrine. I'm in love with citrine. Citrine is called the fear breaker. And a lot of our diseases are caused by the fear that we have. The fear, and we all have fear. We're human beings, we're going to have fear. But citrine says, you know, fear is an illusion. It's not real. You were taught that fear. And so, again, it's not just going to take something away from you. It's not just going to heal you automatically, although it can, and I've seen it happen. But what it does is it shifts your thoughts. It shifts the way you believe things. It helps you to break old patterns in your life and old habits in your life. Citrine's also called the manifesting stone, because the only thing really that prevents us from manifesting what we want is fear. There's a stone for everything. You name it, we have a stone for it, because there's a different energy for everything. So besides stones, we offer candles, oils, incense, cards, books, CDs, and compassion. Everybody that comes through that door, I totally fall in love with, because it takes courage to do this. It takes courage to change. It takes courage to shift your mind. And I so admire people who are willing to do that. And even if they go out saying, oh, that's just baloney, I don't care. They've been exposed. They came here for a reason. People come in here not knowing why they come in here, and they end up staying for years because this is a home. And we've designed it to be a home for everyone to come and feel who they are. My motto is, the courage to live your own life is the greatest gift you can give to the world. And that's what we teach here, is how to live your life. Not the life everybody else wanted you to have, but the life you innately came in here to have. Who are you? Without everything else that you've been taught. That's healing. When you can get to that place inside yourself that said, oh, that's who I am. This is who I like. This is what I like. This is what I love. This is my passion. And this is my passion. I didn't know that 27 years ago. But I woke up. I had what I called my cosmic wake-up call. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me to get hit in the head with a softball. Even though softballs aren't soft, it was the greatest gift I could have gotten from the universe, just to get hit in the head. It woke me up. It said, look around you. There's more to this than you know.
For more information on Free Spirit crystals, workshops, and products, you can check out their website at freespiritcrystals.com. Whether you're interested or hesitant about the topic of holistic healing and such things, each person in store featured is happy to help with any questions. That's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Holistic Healing and More.